Dustin Porier loses his last fight in mixed martial arts. What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Fight Franchise and a recap and review of the main event of UFC 318, where Dustin Porier had a final bout against Max Holloway, where Max Holloway won the unanimous decision in a brilliant performance by Max Holloway. Let's give him the credit. This video is probably going to be me waxing lyrical on how amazing Dustin Porier is. But before we get into that, just need to give some pre-context to the build-up of this fight. This was Dustin Porier's retirement fight, his last fight in mixed martial arts, and his send-off, his big send-off in MMA. And yeah, he told us, this is me, one and done. The UFC said, okay, we're going to send it over to Louisiana. I'm just going to swap the lighting a bit. That's better. Yeah, this was his send-off in Louisiana, and this was one of those matchups where everyone was hyped. We could have got one of the fights of the years. It wasn't that. There was moments, round two especially, which over-delivered, which was great fun. But for the most part, it was Max Holloway, more size, a bigger guy, with the volume, had the power to hurt Dustin Porier, and he did that. He came in, put his volume together with his extra weight and power, dropped Porier a couple of occasions, rocked him on a few occasions, was too fast for him on the outside. Porier was chasing him and hunting him where he couldn't really land on him, and when he did, bar one occasion, Holloway could hack it because he's upper division and he's got the size. When they fought the first time, I had this analogy when it was like, for every 3 to 4 shots Max Holloway landed, Dustin Porier only needed 1 to counter that. It was even now. If anything, Max had the more power in this fight. But it was a great performance, round 2 especially, where round 1, I'll just recap, Dustin, he's fighting and whatnot, and then Holloway sits him down and he's about to, I'm thinking to myself, please do not lose in a 1-round KO. That's going to be awful for him to lose that. But he rallied, did Porier, and then the second round was amazing where Holloway backs him up against the fence. He's piecing up, teeing him off, and gets him down to the ground, smashes him on the ground a bit, and then he gets him back up. And then in round 2, towards the end of the round, Porier rocks him, stumbles Holloway, and then jumps the gilly. And I'm thinking, no way is he going to get this guillotine. It's going to be one of the best moments in MMA history. Doesn't get the guillotine, and then they fight round 3. A very lackluster round. They were just kind of recovering. Round 4, Holloway picked up the pace and Porier tried his best to keep up. Round 5 will always be remembered for those last 10 seconds, Max is one of the greatest MMA fighters of all time. Not just inside the octagon, just his personality as well. The fact you were willing to go, come on, let's points down, and goes, come on, your last 10 seconds of the octagon, scrap it out with me, let's go. Max rips like a 12-punch combination, which Porier couldn't keep up, and he clinched him, and he goes, yeah, that was the last 10 seconds of his career. Shame he didn't swing back with him. That would have been some great fun. Something could have happened in that last moment, go out on your shield for Porier, but we're not going to hold any grudges on him. That's him, one and done. Credit to Max Holloway, who, he's putting together a resume of wins, which is unlike anybody else in the lightweight featherweight division. Ilya's trying at the minute, but Max has that depth and that win streak and those years and years and years of experience. Max Holloway, if you're a person in life, Max Holloway should be a massive inspiration. Both of these guys, but Max Holloway should be an inspiration for you. He's lost so many fights and he comes back and just goes, no, I'm not done here. Like when he lost his 13-fight win streak to Dustin Porier, comes back and beats Frankie Edgar, loses to Alex Volkanovski twice, works his way back up to a title shot, getting great wins, loses that, works his way into some wins, fights for the BMF title, then fights Ilia Topuria, loses to Ilia Topuria, and now fights, he comes back from adversity. He doesn't just sit on his laurels, there's guys like Colby Covington who, just sits around after a loss and just lets it grow, where Max Holloway, he bounces back, gets 2 or 3 great wins. When you look at the guys he's lost to in his prime, ever since his prime, I think since he lost to Conor McGregor and Dustin Porier, he's only ever lost to 2 guys, Ilia Topuria and Alex Volkanovski. Other than that, Max Holloway's cleaned out everyone, including 2 amazing wins upper division with Dustin Porier and Justin Gaethje. I remember there was a time where Justin Gaethje, Michael Chandler, and Dustin Porier were all fighting each other, and Charles Oliveira was in that mix. There was like a quadrilogy where they were all kind of fighting each other, and everyone would get the better of them. Max Holloway's got 2 wins against those guys, and he's from the featherweight, so credit to him. Max Holloway is an amazing fighter. As for what Max said in his post-fight speech was amazing, where he goes, "Yo, look guys, I'm sorry I had to play the bad guy. It is what it is. I'm the BMF champion. I've got unfinished business with Ilia Topuria. Dana White, whatever you want, let's make it happen. Dustin Porier, the floor is yours." And this was the best retirement in MMA history. You know, very rarely, retirements in MMA are quite sad. This was bittersweet. Like, it wasn't really sad. It was like, you know what? He lost, but he fought. He's given us one heck of a career. It's in New Orleans, in front of all his people, in front of all his family. And they gave us such an amazing moment. Like, seeing Dustin Porier out there and just like, you know, get his flowers from all his people, from all his fighters. Like, if you went to fighters and go, like, Dustin Porier is your fighter's favourite fighter. That's how, like, legendary this guy was. When you look at him, he went out there, put on so many scraps and walls for us. Like, it is unbelievable when you go back and look at his catalogue of fights, like a watchable fighter. He is one of the most watchable fighters of all times. Like, grappling, submissions, on the feet, in the pocket, boxing, you know, when he pulls those shorts and slicks back the hair and he's scrapping, like, what an absolute legend. And when you look at, like, some of the moments he's had in his career, I'd done a video before the Islam Makhachev fight called The Top 10 Moments of Dustin Poirier's Career. Go ahead, check that video out. That's one of my favourite videos I've ever made. And he's just a legend of this sport. Like, you're never going to get another Dustin Poirier. And yeah, he didn't win a belt. And he came so close he came so close on a few occasions, you know, fought for the title 3 times. But he's the best fighter to never win a belt. He's a Hall of Famer without a belt. How many people could do that? How many non-world champions do you know that can be Hall of Famers in the UFC? Hardly any. He's one of them. He's got a resume better than some champions. He's got wins better than some champions. He's got a legacy better than some champions. This is how good this guy was, and he never won a belt. You know, this guy, he's arguably top 30 MMA UFC fighters of all time without a world title. This is how good this guy is. Like, he was a proper legend of this sport. Like, I'm just going to go through, like, some of his legacy. Like, let's just go backwards of the names he fought in his history. Max Holloway, who he just lost to. Islam Makhachev for the world title, which was arguably the fight of the year that year. It was an amazing fight, an all-out war with Islam Makhachev, where a lot of us thought, you know, Islam Makhachev was going to take him down, submit him. Took on Benoit Saint-Denis on not short notice, but like fought down the division and KO'd him in one of the best knockouts of that year. Fought Justin Gaethje for the BMF title, lost that, but, you know, gave us a good scrap, took a head kick loss, but came back and KO'd Benoit Saint-Denis. Went to war with Michael Chandler, MSG submitted him. Lost the world title shot opportunity to Charles Oliveira, but he did well in that fight. He was stunning Charles Oliveira on the feet. The 2 Conor McGregor wins, that Conor McGregor win on Fight Island when he KO'd him, an amazing win, you know. Dustin Poirier is number 3 and number 2 highest pay-per-views of all time. Okay, it's the Conor McGregor effect, but Conor McGregor needs that guy on the other side. That was Dustin Poirier. This fight, arguably, if you say it's your favourite fight of all time, I don't blame you. Dan Hooker versus Dustin Poirier in the Apex. One of the most legendary fights of all time. And if you're a new MMA fan, go back and watch this fight. This fight is legendary. And when you see how Dustin Poirier leaves this fight compared to Dan Hooker, amazing stuff. The Khabib fight, that was amazing. Like, he went for it. He truly went for it. You know, when he had the ghillie, and then Khabib survives it and submits him. But what an adversary off the back of that. And then the 5-fight win streak with the no contest with Eddie Alvarez. Beats Jim Miller in the fight of the night. Beats Anthony Pettis in the fight of the night with the body triangle. Gets a submission. TKO's Justin Gaethje in one of his best fights of all time. Go back and watch that fight if you've never watched that. The first fight in 2018 on a fight night. They went to absolute war with each other. And then after that beats, like, this I'm just going to go off this 2-fight win streak for Dustin Poirier. April 14, 2018 has the arguable fight of the year versus Justin Gaethje that year. July 2018, nearly 4 months later, faces Eddie Alvarez in another amazing fight of the year kind of fight where he went to war. Then the next year, faces Max Holloway for the interim goal where he beat at the time the featherweight champion at the time and pieced up Max Holloway in an absolute war and one of the fights of the night. That UFC 236 pay-per-view where he beat Max Holloway, that, just remember, Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier followed Israel Adesanya and Kelvin Gastelum, the fight of the year that year. They followed that with another fight of the year worthy fight. That's how good this guy is. And then when you go before that, some of the amazing wins he's got against Bobby Green, Yancy Medeiros, Diego Brandao. This guy is a legend of mixed martial arts. I'm pretty certain, was he Max Holloway's first ever loss in MMA? Yeah, Max Holloway's first fight in the UFC was Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier's last fight in the UFC was Max Holloway. So fitting. Made sense, What a career this guy had. Deserves all the respect. His first fight in the UFC was at UFC 125. And he leaves at UFC 318. And the mad thing is, he'd probably lose to a few guys in the top 5 now. But the guys from 5 to 15 in the lightweight division, he'd probably get some wins against. He'd probably beat some of those guys. This is how good this guy is at the tail end of his career, where he's, I've got my stuff. I've been paid in full. I've got my money. But he'd still go out there and beat some of these guys. This is how much of a scrapper this guy is, Benoit Saint Denis recently got a win, some good wins, and now he's back on a bit of a win streak. Dustin Poirier just last year slept him like he was nothing. This guy, true legend of mixed martial arts. Let me just see if it shows how many fight of the nights or fight of the years. When you look at this guy's honours, he's had 10 fight of the nights. That is insane. This is how entertaining he has been. 4 performance of the nights. What an absolute legend. Yeah, just an amazing fighter. Let me just see if it shows who he had the fight of the year with. Yeah, a lot of people, MMA Fighting, MMA Weekly, gave him the fight of the year for his first Justin Gaethje fight, which was an absolute brilliant fight on a fight night. And then Bloody Elbow gave him the fight of the year versus Korean Zombie. That was an amazing fight where he lost via submission in a back and forth war with the Zombie. What a legend of mixed martial arts Dustin Poirier has been. Sad to see him go, but yeah, there will never be another diamond. There'll never be another guy like him where without a world title, you were a champion, you know what I mean? You had that kind of champion legacy, that champion mindset, that champion attitude. Guys would wish to have a legacy and a career like Dustin Poirier. People coming up would love to be like Dustin Poirier. What a fighter. Yeah, I said this video was going to be me waxing lyrical about how amazing Dustin Poirier is. Yeah, credit to mixed martial arts without a world title to be that good and have that much of a legacy, and the names he has on his legacy. Just absolutely unbelievable. But yeah, UFC 318 was a fun card. The prelims over-delivered. Main card let it down a bit, but to end it off in such a nice way for Dustin Poirier. If there's one guy in mixed martial arts who deserves that kind of send-off, yeah, he's had his beef with Conor McGregor, but deep down, from all counts, he's a good person, a good dude, family man, has the Good Fight Foundation. Yeah, well-deserved Dustin Poirier, and whatever avenue you go down next, I'm sure a lot of the fans will be supporting whatever you do next. So credit to your career and what you gave us, Dustin Poirier, and credit to Max Holloway for just being an absolute legend of mixed martial arts as well, and being the worthy adversary to send Dustin Poirier off in the sunset. And I hope Max Holloway gets his big opportunity in another bout, because he could be facing Ilia Topuria, and Ilia would be a heavy favourite against Max if they rematch, but I feel like just there's something about Max Holloway where he's got a bit of spite in him, and maybe with this extra power at lightweight, can he take a shot better and can he do anything? Because out of all the guys recently who've lost to Porier, Max Holloway done the best, so that'll be interesting. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. What did you think of UFC 318? Have you got any amazing memories and thoughts of Dustin Porier? What is your favourite moment of his career? I think for me, it's either the Justin Gaethje fight, the first one, where they absolutely went to war. I did love the Benoit Saint Denis KO because I thought that was Dustin, going to be a bit finished. But then also the Dan Hooker war, that was one of the best fights of that year during that COVID period when we were just coming back into sports. That second round where Dan Hooker's got him up against the fence, teeing off on him, and then Dustin just survives it, wings back at him, and then the round ends and he just puts his hands on his knees, takes a deep breath, and he just goes, yeah. And then in the third, fourth, fifth round, breaks Dan Hooker. Just what a guy. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more MMA and fight content coming soon. We hope you enjoyed the video and we'll catch you in the next one.